What's up, guys? It is rather hot in my garage. I think outside temperature is like 90 something, so it's super hot in the garage. But today this is a little continuation of my previous video. Previous video was about my front deck, just an update. And as you can see, I made a nice little hole up there for my foot control trolling motor. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how I'm making my DIY recessed foot control trolling motor, I guess section, I guess you would call it. And you'll see why I have to have these glasses on, because what I'm about to do next, I'm probably gonna be covered up and wrapped up eventually, because I have to cut metal, and metal flies. And it's very hot and very sharp and all that together. But just gonna show you guys how I'm making my recessed section for my foot control trolling motor. All right, so first thing I had to do is make a template out of my deck template, whatever, I use cardboard. So I made a template out of cardboard. So first I made a cardboard template just so I could see what size I wanted my recessed foot control trolling motor tray. That's a long title. I'm gonna just say tray. Trolling motor tray, all right? But yeah, my trolling motor tray, mine is gonna be 16 by 10 inches. So yeah, 16 by 10. I felt I gave myself enough space to have enough room for my wires if they bow up kind of thing. I believe my battery wires will be going down and under, out of the way. So I try to give myself, plenty of room so that could be possible. Okay, so next I took my template and I sat it in the middle. Sat it in the middle of my boat. Now, how do I find middle? I measured my distance across, got a middle line, center line, made a center line to center line of my template. Like I said, my template is 16 by 10. So half of 10 is 5. That's my 5. Mark 5 there, mark 5 there, straight line. And that's how I continue my straight line here as well. So I matched center line with the template. It's the center line of the boat. And made a little small continuation, but just to make sure I got center line going all the way across. Then I traced out my template on the wood. You can see a little extra there. But traced out my template. And then I measured it again once I was, can't get it out. All right. So I measured again as far as, like I said, 10 across, 16 down. I measured again just to give me a super straight line for this wood. Okay, so once I had my measurements again for 16 and 10, then I made a deep dark line to make sure I was definitely on it. Because if you're just trying to make a line with just this by itself, you could be slightly left, slightly right. You never know. So I always triple check my measurements, because I try to do that, eyeball it, and this is what occurs. You get off your mark and you make wrong lines. Okay, you don't want to do that. So I definitely triple check myself just to make sure that my template came out correct and my box came out correct once I cut it out. Now what I'm about to get into is I have to cut metal, which is not necessarily the funnest thing in the world. And also that I do have a small cubby under here, which will allow me to run my wires down and through to where I'm going to sit my battery. So I like that a lot. So I'm glad I got that. But yeah, so now once I have the template cut out, and now as you see, I have this nice piece of metal. Now, I did think about this as far as when I was previously making it. Well, previously thinking about it. As you can see these here, they go all the way across. If you look up under in that cubby, there's a beam that goes across this, straight underneath this. And I didn't want to necessarily jeopardize the structural integrity of the beam. I believe it's holding this section together with great support underneath it. So I didn't want to necessarily cut into that beam. So that's why I came down and measured down to this line here, just barely above these. These are actually nothing. I don't know why they're there. They came with the boat. So yeah, I'm just under this, okay? Under that beam. So that's where I'm meeting my measurements too. That's how I got my distance down, period, as far as how far I wanted to go down, or had to go down, because I didn't want to cut that beam. So now I'm going to be tracing out my box. And I would think that I was done, but this is almost done. Because now once I trace this out, once I cut this metal out, I'm gonna have to do two things. Number one thing to take into consideration is how deep that tray is gonna sit, and it's roughly 4 inches. I'm using a pressure treated 2x4, which is gonna be connected right under this as well, and I'll show you that later. But that pressure treated 2x4 is almost 4 inches as far as the vertical height, which will give me the proper amount of depth that I want to have my trolling motor tray sitting down, so my actual foot control will sit in. It will sit in up to about yay high, which is pretty good for me. Okay, I'm good with that. So take consideration the depth in which you want your tray. And the second thing you want to take into consideration is the thickness of this. Where is it going to sit once you mount it, well, underneath to the side of this, okay? So that right there is supposed to be 2x4, but we'll measure it again so I get a precise measurement. Once I remove my wood, I'll have what this requires, right? Then I have to add what this needs as far as cutting out of my metal, because what I'm going to have is a box sitting up under this. That's all my tray is going to be. It's pretty much a box, a very, very well supported box. I'm going to put so many screws in the thing so it's ridiculous. An elephant should be able to stand on this, okay? All right, not really, but yeah. I'm gonna stop talking and get some more work done. Time is ticking. Okay, so I'm gonna get to some work. Okay, so the cut is done. So my initial plan was to measure 4 inches from, I guess, the top of this break here down, because 4 inches would give me pretty much a good depth for that piece of 2x4. Only thing was, I wasn't taking into consideration the extra ½ inch caused by a piece of ½ inch plywood that you would be, not you, but that the 2x4 would be applied to. So to taking that consideration, that 2x4 is about 3.5 inches or so. So actually add another extra half would have equaled 4 inches altogether. But I was measuring initially from the top of this. My wood would mean my 2x4 would be connected to the bottom of this, not the top. So I did not need to take that extra ½ inch into consideration here. I needed to measure from the bottom of this all the way down, which left me with like literally that small distance of aluminum sitting there. And I was like, that'd be nice to have that for, moral support. One small piece of aluminum going all the way across. Which is still possible, I guess you'd say. I can add a flat bar, but I digress. But no, so in order to eliminate that as a possible problem, I just cut straight through, because also at the bottom of the 2x4 I'm going to be having some ½ inch plywood, and I said I might put 2 pieces of ½ inch plywood there at the very bottom just for extra durability, because I will be standing on it or applying a certain amount of pressure, let alone if I have to get back on the trolling motor real quick and I hop over real quick and put my full weight at a quick instance on this. I wanted to have just a little extra support in case I do so. But so I end up, like I said, I'm just cutting the entire thing. Okay, so next I believe I'm going to go ahead and make my box. All right, so I made my cuts. This is actually a spare. I have one spare piece of pressure treated 2x4, and that's how much material I have. Enough to do a straight and I guess a square and if I can set this up properly. Straight, square in the back, I'm gonna try to do that. I'll be using some exterior screws. So I'm gonna go ahead and screw this together, make it look pretty. Then unscrew everything and then treat this wood. Okay, I'm trying to make this nice and flush up against that wall there. Well, not wall, but you know, nice and flush against that. So I have a nice straight side, straight edge. Okay. All right, so what I'm doing here is making my bottom piece of plywood that's going on the bottom of that trolling motor tray. Trolling motor tray. Purple rain, purple rain. All right, let's see what we got. I think it looks pretty nice. Looks pretty good. The measurements came out good. Fits right inside of the metal that I cut out. I'm not too worried about this cubby here. That allows me to run my wires to my battery through, for wires for transducer, etc. Whatever I decide to bring up here. If anything, I could possibly put maybe some plywood back between to just close it down a little bit more. But that'll allow airflow in this area. I think I'll do some pilot holes for water drainage, as well as leaving that as is. I do have gaps on both sides, so water does have a way to exit, just in case I were to, be able to caught in the rain, or I'm driving the boat and say rain comes down kind of thing. It'll have areas for the water to exit. Now next thing is to actually put that up here. But first, I would like to stand on that. And that's only one sheet of 1/2-inch plywood. Like I said, it should be pretty sturdy. I might put a second sheet underneath just for durability wise. Never know. And it won't hurt to have an extra sheet. So stand by. That's all my weight. All my weight. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. What you think about my DIY recessed foot control tray. I think it turned out pretty good. I think she turned out pretty good. So you can spend $150 for one of those, already molded trays or whatever. Or you can use some 2x4 and plywood and make your own recessed tray for your foot control trolling motor. I think she comes out good. Like I said, wires are run down and through to my battery underneath this. My wires for my fish finder will come up, come up through that as well. Any water that gets in will be passed down through these holes here. You see me put my entire weight, like I said, I'm 230 pounds. I put my entire weight on that side. I only have one sheet of 1/2-inch plywood right there. Again, these are 4-inch exterior screws going all the way around. These screws are not attached to any aluminum. But again, like I said, you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about this, how you think it turned out. Thanks for watching. If you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. And please subscribe to the channel so you guys can see how this boat finishes out. You guys take care. See you in the next one.